Om Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vitvaram Kataksha Kirana Chanta Naman Mohabdaye Namaha Ananta Krishnaya Naman Mangala Murtaye Anandananda Krishnaya Jagan Mangala Murtaye. Okay. Nityajnanasya me tetrayaha katam. In verse number 12. Vijnana viratihi suptihi tajjanma swapna jagaro. Where the intellect has stopped functioning as intellect, discriminating power, a mind which is filled with thoughts and emotions and feelings, both are absent, and awareness about the body is also absent in the sleep. A partial awareness of or partial presence of the mind and related to memory present in dream. Full awareness means full awareness about the body and full function of the mind and intellect in waking state. Tesham sakshi aham. I am the witness to all the three. Being so, absence and presence of the mind or the intellect, which happens in the state of waking dream or deep sleep, do not belong to me. Therefore, te trayaha me katam. How is that these three are mine? Because I'm just only watching. And my nature is what? Nitya jnana. Nitya jnanam. Aham nitya jnanam. The word nitya means aparinatmakam nityam. Aparinatmakam means that which is not subject to change. Satyam means that which does not become absent. That's the difference between Satyam and Nityam. Nitya vastu, aparinatmaka vastu. Satya vastu, na abhadi, na bhadanam gacchati. kadachit. At no point, at no time it becomes absent. So I, the one who do not change in all the three experiences, cannot be awake, cannot be going to sleep, cannot be dreaming also. And I am also aware from the day I was born till today, what are the changes that have taken place. Shadvikaravadam veta nirvikaro hamanyata tadvikarānusandhānam sarvata navakalpate. Shadvikaravatam veta nirvikaro hamanyata tadvikarānusandhānam sarvata navakalpate. Aham veta. Veta means vetru, aham knower. I am the knower of what? Shadvikaravatam. Shadvikaravat means that which has 6 modifications. Shadvikaravatam, of the one which has 6 modifications, namely the body. Veta, knower. What are the Shadvikaras? Asti, Jayate, Vardate, Viparinamate, Apakshiyate, Vinashyati iti. Asti, it is. Jayate is born. Vardate is grown. Viparinamate changes, modifies. Apakshiyate decays. Vinashyati dies. Swamiji, that means to say that I will see my own death? Of course. If you are awake, if you're sleeping and you're dying, may probably not. No, you definitely see, even if body is sleeping. Vinashyati, that's the last one. Before that, apakshiyate, start decaying. The body starts becoming weaker and weaker day by day. Faculties are failing. We will know it. That's why we are conscious about our sickness, isn't it? Well, till yesterday it was good. I was okay. Today I'm feeling so tired, feverish, cold. I don't want to go through this, or I want to get rid of it. Why? Because I'm aware of the healthy condition of my body, and now I am aware of the unhealthy condition of the body, which means what? The awareness was there when the body was healthy. The awareness is present when the body is now having fever or any other sickness. Similarly, Viparinamade, when the body undergoes changes in my physical body, changes are taking place constantly. I'm aware of that. Aware means I know, not that I'm keep watching it. My hair is growing. Am I watching it? Not growing, but anyway. But nails are growing. Am I watching it all the time? Come on, come on, come on. But I am aware. After some time, I look at, oh, 3-4 days later, I think last week when I cut the nails, again it has come. I'm aware. So changes also I am aware. Growth also I am aware. I was aware when I was young boy, little boy. Now, the way I was running at that time, running and jumping, I can't do it right now. I'm grown. growth you are aware. So, Swamiji, you said Jayate, birth. So that means you are aware of the birth? Of course. That's why I celebrate birthdays. Some people want a birthday almost every other month, The small children you ask, when do you want? When is your birthday? Last month it's over. I have to wait for a whole year. When you are young, you are waiting for your birthday to come. As you get old, you don't want birthday to come because you feel old. No more birthdays come and gone. My God. So, your born birth, you are aware. Of course, you are. So, okay, even if you say I'm aware of my own birth, let us say, Jayate, Vardate, growth, Viparinamate, change, Apakshiyate, decays, Vinashyati, dies. Okay, these five I can somehow, Swamiji, I can understand. But what is this Asti? Asti jayate vardate viparinamate using. So what is this Asti? This Astitvam is not a change, but it's a beginning of all changes. When you wake up from your state of sleep, you are aware that even though nothing else was aware, you are aware of, but the astitva of yourself, you are not doubting. I was there in dream, I was there in sleep, even though I was not aware of that at that time. Similarly, from nothing alone can come. If birth has taken place, what is that was there which is born? From zero it came to a being, or unmanifest to manifest. So Bhagavan Krishna has said that you were there in the past, Arjun. All of us were there, all of us will be there in the future also. So even from the standpoint of a Jiva, not to talk about Brahman, even the standpoint of Jiva, there is only manifestation and unmanifestation, not absence to presence. Birth is not a presence coming from absence. Birth is manifestation from unmanifestation. So astitva of oneself, even as a jiva, not as a Brahman only, as an individual self, an individual soul, had to be there in the past to manifest as a born being. So therefore, asti, that which was there, only became manifest jayate, vardate, etc. So these six modification, what has not the mind, not the intellect, only the body. Dehasya shadvikara veta. Shadvikara vadam veta. So since I have seen those changes, the one who is watching the changes do not undergo any change. Therefore, I am aham nirvikaraha. Vikaraha. Akara means form. Vikara means change of form. Nirvikara means not changing its nature. Nirvikara aham. Otherwise, anyata. Otherwise, tad vikara anusandanam na avakalpate sarvata. Vikara anusandanam smritihi. Anusandanam smritihi. Remembrance of those changes, those modifications, the memory of those modifications, sarvata, in no way, na sarvata avakalpade is possible. I'm not imagining those changes. So not only the three states of experiences I am aware, therefore I am not, though any in one of the, I am not belonging to one of the three changes, but I am aware of, I am witnessing to all the three states of experiences every day I go through. Not only that, I am also aware of the changes that are taking place in my body from that so-called time of manifestation until this point and until the end of this manifestation. If I have to remember what it was 10 years back, 20 years back, 40 years back, 50 years back, if I'm aware of that, at that time also I was there to remember that even now. If you are not there, if I have not gone to your party and somebody asked me, what happened in that party? How do I know? I was not there. If I was there, then you can say, oh yeah, I was there. Oh, that's what's going on at that point. Why? I was there. And now, today, maybe after 10 days, after 1 week or 1 year also, I can remember if anything significant happened. Yeah, I remember that. And last year, this time, even if you don't know, your phone will let you know. Last year, this day, picture. Remember, 1 year old. So I do remember because I was there. As much as if you say, I slept, who knows? What do you mean, who knows? I slept. Oh, you were there? I was not there. Then how do you know you slept? Good question. If I have said that I have slept, which is to say that I experienced that sleep. Not like waking or dream, but I know that I slept. In what way you know? Because I was there. What were you doing? I don't know what I was doing, but I was there. I was not doing anything as such. If I was absent, then I would not know. No? I was watching it. Shadvikar veta nirvikaroham anyata tadvikara anusandanam sarvata na avakalpate. Otherwise, I would not know those changes that have taken place, and I remember them. So, if somebody asks, when you went to the school, from high school to the, or the middle school to the high school, the first day, how was it? I don't know. Well, you were not there. You may say, I don't remember. Not that you were not there. Then somebody else says, you remember that we went into the school and first day that particular teacher, oh yeah, correct. Remember that now. Because I was there. Even though 50 years back, what had happened, I may probably remember that because at that time, I was present. So memory of an experience, an event, if you remember, that only shows that you were there at that time to register that in your mind. So according to the Buddhist Kshanikavadins, who may think that there is no continuous presence of consciousness, only momentary state of consciousness, in which case what consciousness I had at that point is not the same consciousness person at this point now. In that case, I would not remember what had happened then. There must be, even if you don't want to call it as a consciousness, let us say, if something was there which is to connect is today from that day, or from that day to today. Tena tena hi rupena jayate liyate muhu. Vikari vastu tesham vastunastesham. Vikari vastunastesham anusandatrata kutaha. Tena tena hi rupena jayate liyate muhu. Vikari vastunastesham anusandatrata kutaha. If you say that tena tena hi rupena, of that particular nature or a form, jayate liyate, is born and dying, Muhuhu, muhu means punapuna, again and again. If there is no continuous state of consciousness, it is only momentary, in which case, let us say that waking state consciousness is not associated with the dream, and dream consciousness is not associated with waking, sleep, etc. If that is the case, there is no connection between one to another, and there will not be one cannot remember the other. I cannot remember your dream or your waking or your sleep, because your waking consciousness is different from my waking consciousness presently. So the consciousness which I am must have been present in all conditions to know what has happened. If it has born and dying immediately, as and when the particular experience taking place, then tesham vikari vastunah, of those which are subject to change, anusanda trita kutaha, there be a person, anusandatru, the knowership, kutaha, anusandatrita, the person who remembers. How can there be? This is a contract with Kshanikavadin, Kshanika Vijnanavadin, who are a branch of Buddhists, as he puts. These questions cannot be answered by this theory of moment-to-moment consciousness of a sect of Buddhists. So here, the changes that are taking place, and every change that is taking place is happening in my presence. That is the reason why when you are under anesthesia and some surgery has taken place, a forced absence of you was brought in, and your physical body has been operated, and then you wake up, you were not made to become, the memory is erased as such. The brain activity, the doctors may probably correct me, brain activity with respect to registering that particular experience has been stopped. Not that you were not there, obviously you are not dead. So in anesthesia state where the person is present but not registering it, and therefore when you wake up, you question, what happened? Oh yeah, surgery is over. Oh, I didn't know that. You were alive, but the registering of that memory of that experience is being not done, and the brain is made to become absent there. Brain is becoming absent not to register that information. And so you see the difference between the state of sleep and anesthesia must be noted here carefully. In the state of forced swoon in anesthesia, obviously there was a condition where even though you are fully awake, you are not to register that information. Fully awake means you are aware. And the experience is not registered in the brain. Whereas in the deep sleep state, there is no particular mental activity that is taking place, and you are aware of the absence of mental activity. Thoughts or emotions or learning, unlearning, whatever. So the registration, the memory that is registered here is, I don't know. There is something that is being registered there. So the difference between the state of anesthesia and the state of deep sleep is, in deep sleep, there is a subtle thought that is going on as I don't know. Aham kimapi na janami iti. Whereas in the state of anesthesia, even that is not allowed there, in my understanding. Therefore, there is a sudden absence of awareness of time, sudden absence of awareness of time. See, in the sleep, it's a slow process of you withdrawing from awareness of the body, mind, etc. Whereas in anesthesia, it's a forced and sudden. That's why when you wake up from the state of anesthesia, you are aware at the moment where you are asked to count from 1 to 100, but you do not know, suddenly it stopped. And you are in one room, and the next, when you wake up, you are in some other room. How did I come here? Whereas in sleep, it's a self-induced withdrawal. Slowly, 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 you are moving away from your awareness of the physical body and then withdrawing everything into yourself. Tamo vibhuda sukharupameti. And when you wake up, you are aware that you went to sleep all right, out of your own choice, and it is not all of a sudden. And I don't know, aham na janami, that vritti, that thought is registered. So that's why when you are asked, what were you doing? What were you thinking? No, I was not thinking anything. No, I was not doing anything. Experience? No, I was not experiencing anything. That's the difference I see in anesthesia and sleep. Now, Shanikavadins, a set of Buddhists, have come to this conclusion that there is consciousness, but it is momentary. It is available along with every thought that arises, there is a consciousness arising. I'm aware of this, and then that is become absent. Then next consciousness comes, I'm aware of this now. that goes away. Again, next thought, I am aware of this now. So along with the thought, consciousness arises, along with the thought, consciousness disappears. Again, another awareness of the thoughts, again, disappearance. This is their argument. And that is what is countered here, saying that that cannot be so because there is a recollection of the previous condition or previous thought. Obviously, when you have a very strong thought about something, after some hours later, yeah, I was thinking about that at some time, 2-3 hours back, and now I can recall and then continue with that. That is to say that you can bring into your memory what had happened some hours back, because at that time, the same you were there to think about it. So, continuing here, Nacha swajanmana shamba drashtumarhati kaschana tauhi praguttara bhava charama pratamakshanau Najaswajanmana shamba drashtumarhati kaschana tauhi praguttara bhava charama pratamakshanau. So one may ask this question that as the introduction goes, this doubt is answered by saying that there are two changes which the Atman can never illuminate. They are its own birth and its own death. And when it cannot illuminate its own birth or death, how can it illuminate the changes between them? So, you see, my own birth, I don't know. My own birth means not the body. If Atman also has got a birth, and Atman also has got a death, the self, one cannot remember one's own birth. Na swajanma nasham va drashtum arhati kaschana na kaschana, no one drashtum arhati is capable of seeing swajanma and swanasham, one's own birth and one's own death. Why? Because the answer is given in the next line, prag uttara abhava. Prag abhava, uttara abhava. Pehle na tha, baad mein nahi tha. What do you mean by that? If an object is seen by me as existing, and it was not there before and came to exist, when it came to exist, I see it as come because I was aware of it not being there. This not being there has come into being. I'm aware of its janma. Meaning, I was there before it was born or before it was brought in. So me must be present. I must be present to see before it was, before it came. Prag abhava is not possible. If I was not there, how do I know the birth of mine? Similarly, when it is taken away, I know its absence, it is no more. The no more of it is known because after it is gone, I'm there to see its absence. Uttara bhava. If Prag abhava, if I was not there before its birth, uttara abhava, if I am not going to be there after its dead, then I will not be able to register its birth and death. Prag uttara abhava charama pradama kshanau, the last moment prior to non-existence and first moment posterior to non-existence. Last charama. Charama means last moment before its, prior to its non-existence. Not there, not there, not there. Yes. So when you say it has come into being, the last moment before its absence, I must be there. Similarly, it is there, it is there, it is there, it is there, not there. I should be there as posterior non-existence. So while you are, even to take an example, when you are dreaming and then suddenly you woke up because of some sound, you are eating the 16th Rasagulla. Okay. I don't know why it's such a nice thing. I was having my 16th Rasagulla. I woke up. So you were aware of the absence of the Rasagulla because when you wake up, the moment you wake up, you were there to see the non-existence of that. Posterior non-existence. Obviously, therefore, if I am the witness of my own various changes that are taking place, in every change that is taking place, I am present unchangingly. My own, if you say it is subject to, the consciousness is also subject to birth and death. Who knows the birth of consciousness and death of consciousness? And if you say there is A, consciousness A has come into being and it dies along with a thought, and then consciousness B is born, at the time of death of A, B is present or not? If B, consciousness B, was not present at the death of consciousness A, B will never know the existence of A. If my grandfather had died before my birth, would I ever know him? Unless, I mean, somebody may tell me that it's so and so is your grandfather. Oh, I wish I had seen him. You would not have seen him because you were not born at that time. Very often the children complain, where was I when you both get married, when you both got married? Mom, where was I? You are not born. So if B was present, then two consciousness must be present at the same time. A, the last moment of A, if it is known to be, A and B must have been coexisting at some point of time. If B is born after A, B will never know about A. Therefore, if you say A and B were coexisting at same point of time, that means B was there to see the A's death. Obviously, A will know the birth of B, but he is no more there, so we cannot tell anything about it. There must be something which is constantly present to see the birth and death of thoughts. Therefore, consciousness is not a thought, and it is aware of the birth and death of thoughts, and it is not subject to any kind of birth and death along with the thoughts. Think. So here, the knowledge of the identity of Brahman and Atman, which was supposed so far, discussed so far, even if it is possible to gain, will serve no purpose at all. This is the argument he starts with. It does serve a purpose of eliminating this perceived world of change, which is full of sorrow. Even if I know that Brahma Atma Aikyatvam, which is what you are trying to say. See, Atman, when you say it is the self, which is aware, present in me, and presently it is aware of me, the individual person. And because of its constant association with my body, my mind, my intellect, etc., and not only associated, it gets identified also. It becomes Jiva Atman. When it comes to realize that this very consciousness is the same in all beings, at all times, then I realize its original nature as Brahman. But then all this is, even if one knows, what is the purpose? The purpose is to know the temporariness of everything. The samsara, which is subject to constant change, as Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda would put it, the constant flux of time and space, Einsteinian world of time and space. And when you know that changes, unavoidable changes are taking place, which is what is causing sorrow, change always brings sorrow. One condition to another condition, when you move, you lose the benefit of the previous condition. The joys and sorrows or experiences that you have had of the previous condition is ended, and the new condition has started. That's why we are so fond of our habits. We cannot easily give up because we are deriving why they are sustained, why you are having habit of that particular habit, why you are habituated to certain things, because you are deriving joy out of it. That's why you again and again repeat the same thing. Even there are certain dangers or some kind of pain that you may go through in those practices or habits, but the joy that you derive is overwhelming, it's overpowering. Therefore, you don't give up. That is a person who's smoking, knowing very well that it's dangerous to continue to smoke, but yet the joy that he derives out of that is much more than the pain that is yet to come. It may not come also. So when a person is forced to change the habit, there's got a lot of pain. One does not want. But the knowledge of the fact that everything is temporary, fleeting, subject to giving sorrow, that will make one realize the impermanence of the human, the world, and the permanence of the reality of the self, and will enable him to move towards liberation. But the opponent says, but samsara cannot be eliminated because body, mind, intellect are there, which are all product of ignorance. So, and knowledge cannot remove this body, mind, intellect by itself. Hmm. So ignorance is the cause of the entire conditioning that we are presently going through. As beautifully it is put, knowledge can dispel a thing that is imagined and not that which is real. For example, knowledge can dispel a snake that is imagined by someone on the rope, but not the rope. The ignorance that has caused the conditioning is not an imagination, because we cannot point out anyone who has imagined it. Who has imagined ignorance? It cannot be the ego, because it itself is a product of ignorance. Nor can it be the immutable Atman, since it is not an imagination, it must be real. How can knowledge dispel real ignorance? If ignorance is not dispelled, how can the samsara be eliminated? All these arguments are valid if there is such a thing called ignorance at all. If you are assuming that there is ignorance, which is real, on the basis that no one has imagined it. We deny the very existence of ignorance. Please underline that. अज्ञान का भाव रूप है या अभाव रूप है? This is a constantly asked question among the Vedantins. See, we say the world is constantly changing. What causes the change? What causes the change? The change is happening because the nature of matter is to change. All right. Who's the cause of the matter? What is the cause of the matter? Maya. If Maya is the cause of this change, Maya must be real to make this change. If Maya is real, Maya at the world externally, and the same Maya internally working as avidya. The only difference is Maya is outside, avidya is inside. That's all the difference. When it is personal, it is avidya. When it is impersonal, it is Maya. So when the Maya is the one which is making these all changes possible, then Maya must be there, a positive existence. And if it is something which is really there, how can it become absent? Yet satyam, that which is real, na asatyam bhavati. And suddenly it cannot become unreal. If something becomes absent at some point of time, then it is originally not there. Because that which is a positive thing cannot become absent. It can be absent in one place, but it has to be present somewhere else. So, if knowledge of the oneness between Atman and Brahman cannot eliminate Maya, which means the change that is constantly taking place because of Maya also cannot be eliminated, and the change causes sorrow that cannot be eliminated. So what is the purpose of knowledge then, if it cannot eliminate sorrow? So that question is very interesting. So here is the answer. Na prakasheham ityuktihi. Yat prakashaika bandhana. Swaprakasham tamatmanam. Aprakashat katam sprishet. Na prakasheham ityuktihi. Yat prakashaika bandhana. Swaprakasham tamatmanam. Aprakashat katam sprishet. Aham na prakashe. Aham na prakashe. Na prakashe aham. I don't know. This is the nature of ignorance. I don't know. iti uktihi statement. Na prakashe aham iti uktihi. I don't know. Even the statement I don't know will be possible only when I am aware that I don't know. Yat prakasheka bandhana. What I know is I am aware. Like waking and dream. The absence of everything which I would say I don't know is also known. When you say I don't know, who knows that you don't know? Who is aware that you don't know? Do you know Czechoslovakian? No, I don't know. Who? Because the awareness knows that I do not know a particular language or a thing, an object or a person, whatever it be. So the awareness of ignorance, awareness of knowledge, both do not belong to knowledge, and ignorance both do not belong to awareness, because it is untouched by that. So as it say here, well, meaning is not given. Okay. The translation is not being given in this verse number 16. Anyway. Based on which light? Yat prakasha eka bandhana aham na prakasha aham iti yuktihi. The statement I do not know is made. That tam swaprakasham, which is of the nature of self-illumination, atmanam, which is the self, katam aprakashaha, how that which is not self-illuminating, which is ignorant, sprushet, even touch. Can the darkness ever touch the light? In the absence of light, there is darkness. In the presence of light, there is no darkness. And in the presence of the light, darkness cannot come in. It cannot touch it. Why? See, this is the question that we often put forth for those people who talk about ignorance being bhavarupa. If it is of a real nature, then it can overpower light. When light comes in, darkness is not, can the darkness come and light becomes absent? Is it possible? When the light is present, darkness cannot get in. While darkness is present, light can get in. Similarly, awareness is of the nature of self-illumination. Therefore, ignorance cannot touch it. Why? Because even ignorance is known only when there is awareness. So, because of which I have the awareness of ignorance, ignorance cannot overpower it. Because the awareness of ignorance is not possible in the absence of awareness. That's why Ramana Maharshi often, that statement is very powerful, that Jnanavarjita ajnanahina chit jnanamastikim jnatumantaram. Jnatumantaram, jnanam jnatumantaram, having realized the self, Ajnanam cha jnanam cha aham janami. I know both. When I know both knowledge and ignorance as object of my awareness, is there anything further to be known? मैं ज्ञान को मालूम, मुझे ज्ञान मालूम है और अज्ञान भी मालूम है, मैं कौन हूं फिर? मैं, neither I am knowledge nor ignorance. So is there really a thing called ignorance which is always there? As the answer it says, to say the ignorance is real because no one has imagined it is illogical. On the other hand, since it is not established who has imagined it, the ignorance must be non-existing. Brahman cannot imagine, and anything other than Brahman, which is of the nature of existence, cannot even exist. The world as well as the experience of the world are false in the sense that they are only apparent. See, as is explained here, there is Brahman of the nature of Satchidananda, and it is me. To say I don't know myself is ignorance. There is a light of consciousness because of which the statement is both recognized and expressed. This also shows that the light must be apart from and untouched by these thoughts of ignorance. The light is that Atman, the pure consciousness, which shines even ever as illuminator of the thoughts of ignorance. Ignorance cannot touch it because they are opposite nature. Ignorance cannot be, hence it does not exist in Atman. Just as in the sun, clouds do not exist. The clouds that veil the sun are seen because of the light of the sun. The clouds can neither touch nor actually cover the sun. Ganachanna drishtihi ganachanna markam yada manyade cha adimuda. Ganachanna markam yadi manyade cha adimuda. The clouds are covering the sun. One who says is a most idiotic and stupid one. Ganachanna drishtihi tasmad ganachanna markam yadi manyade sa buddha, sa buddhiman. My eyes are covered by the cloud, and therefore I am not seeing the sun. Is intelligent. The clouds are covering the sun, therefore I am not able to see. Is fool. Can the cloud cover the sun, or can the cloud cover the eyes? There is a contradiction between knowledge and ignorance, but there is no contradiction between awareness and ignorance. I know and I don't know. These can be contradicting. When I know is there, I don't know cannot be there. And I don't know is there, I know cannot be. These two cannot coexist. But awareness can coexist with both of them. In fact, the awareness of an object is also imagined. Ignorance is also equally imagined. Because other than Brahman, anything else is there is only apparent. If there is a mud pot that is there, and somebody says there is a mud pot, and then I break it, and somebody says pot is broken, pot is no more, he is right in a way, but wrong in another way. Because the pot that you saw earlier was also mud. And after breaking of the pot, what do you see as pieces, which is not a pot, is also mud only. So what was there and what has become absent? A mere projection of name and form upon the mud called pot, and that very projection was eliminated on breaking of the pot, in which case mud remains the same while the projected idea, notion of pot, which was present, was also a mere superimposition, and its absence is also superimposition. What remains is something which never changed. So ignorance and knowledge can contradict each other, but not awareness. This text is making us go further and further and further, deeper and deeper, to understand the real nature of the self after having, after giving us various ways of looking at the same thing. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hey.